Hello there. Today I want to talk about the reaction to the terrorist attacks in the UK. Um, and in particular, the reaction of the police, the media, a lot of the public, but mainly the establishment, the police, the media, the politicians, people like that. We've had a few terrorist attacks in the UK the last few months, and the reaction to them is always the same. It's basically politicians like Khan, Burnham, police chiefs, local councillors, politicians, the commentariat, or police chiefs. You know, the usual people that roll out after every terrorist attack. Faith leaders, that's a good one, of all faiths. And the message is basically the same every time, and it is: keep calm and carry on. This won't divide us. It's a minority of people carrying out these attacks. It's a subversion of Islam. These people aren't representing Islam. We're stronger together. Then we'll have a vigil for the people who've died or been hurt. People will change Facebook profiles, backgrounds on Facebook, light candles, and it's just, to me, it's just like we're trapped in some sort of loop, and it's a loop that's just going to be repeated again and again. But it's not enough. It's just pathetic. I think it's pathetic, the reaction now. Obviously, it's good to show sympathy for people affected, and that is a good thing, but that alone is just not enough. The term keep calm and carry on came from World War II, and absolutely, the British people did keep calm and carry on, but they also did something else, and that something else was fight back. They didn't just lie back and wait for the next attack. They fought back, and that's what's missing today for me. It's just from the establishment, not the people of the country, but the establishment and all these the people I've outlined before. They go halfway. The nice part, showing the care and things like that, which is great, but it's only half of what's required. There is nobody, no mainstream politician, as I say, the faith leaders, the commentariat, the talking heads on TV, the Owen Jones and the same old people that get rolled out all the time, and they've just got no idea what's required to tackle this problem. So in the UK now, we have 23,000 Islamic terrorists, or people with sympathies for Islamic terrorism. So they say there's about 3,000 on the severe list, the watch list, 3,000. And after that, there's a further 20,000 who are of concern or have sympathies or on the list, And they also say that in terms of surveillance for those 3,000 jihadis, it costs £2 million per person per year to monitor these people. I don't know the maths, but £2 million times 3,000, that's a fortune. That's a hell of a lot of money every year. Then on top of that, there's the 20,000. So this Islamic terrorist problem in Britain must now be costing hundreds of millions, if not billions, per year. It has to be. But what is the point of that? Just watching people, observing them. Why aren't they tackling the problem? Just waiting for the next attack? It's pathetic. Now, are the politicians unwilling to act, or are they unable to act, or are they just in denial? I don't know which. Personally, I think it's absolute cowardice. This gutless political class we've got now, like a liberal political class, who are just more bothered about multiculturalism and community relations and things like this than actual dealing with an issue. It's just outrageous. It's just, and the same people will be out in a few months' time or a year's time in the next attack, crying, crocodile tears, and saying we won't be divided. We must stick together. Blah 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 all the time. Now, if there was a magic wand and I was in charge, I would do the following, and I think my views would be shared by a huge majority of the British public if I was allowed to do this. And what I would do firstly is I would launch a huge campaign of rounding up these 3,000 jihadis straight away, get them in. Anyone found guilty, they would be jailed if they're British. If they're not British, they'd be out of the country, deported. I would also look at internment for these people on this 23,000 list as well. I would sort of build a camp for them, just specifically for Islamic terrorists. Also, I would never mix Islamic terrorists with general prison population. For example, I'd have separate jails for them, because you've got to contain the virus of this Islamism, whatever they call it. They've got to keep that contained. They can't let it spread out. It's people. Too many people are being radicalised in British prisons now. It's just out of control by all accounts. So internment. So you pick a remote Scottish island, you build a facility, and you stick them up there, out of the way of, because this will save lives. And also use the fourth thing. So you've got prison, deportation, internment, and the fourth thing I'd do is I'd clamp down hard on any mosques which are found to have Islamic, sermons from Islamic hate preachers, and go under. I'm sure we have people undercover in all these mosques now, but any of them that are slightly dodgy, they should be shut down and send out an example to the Islamic community that this won't be put up with anymore. Enough is enough now. Theresa May said the words, enough is enough. It was just words. She ain't going to do anything. Everyone knows that. She's absolutely pathetic, and so is Corbyn. The last Liberal leader, he's pathetic. The next one will be. UKIP probably don't even go far enough, although if the lady called Anne-Marie Walters does get the UKIP leadership, she's the only political person in Britain who I think is even prepared to discuss or tackle this issue. She's got real guts, a lady called Anne-Marie Walters, but I don't expect her to get the job of UKIP leader. The media are already slurring her, and you hear all sorts of threats that people are going to resign from being MEPs and things like this in UKIP. And so even UKIP are too soft on the issue. So there isn't one political party or major politician who's even prepared to deal with this problem. Now that's a massive, massive problem for the British people, because A, it means we're going to get more tax, and B, it means there's a further risk of people taking things into their own hands, like the fella who, the Welsh lad who allegedly mowed down the crowd there. I know he's probably did it, but he hasn't been convicted yet. But I suspect that was a reaction, that he was feeling like nothing's getting done, and when people feel like that, they take things into their own hands, like vigilante action. That's not what we want. We want the politicians to deal with the problem, but they ain't gonna. We have two problems in Britain now. For the people of Britain, have two problems. Have the Islamic nutcases, the 23,000, whatever there is, 3,000, 23,000, the enemy within, I call them, ready to pounce when the moment's right. Any one of us could be killed, slaughtered any moment because of them. And then on the other side, you have the weak liberal politicians and police and establishment who aren't prepared to tackle the problem. So what the hell is the answer? How many more attacks need to happen before something's done? My fear is it's going to lead to possibly down the line like a civil war type situation in the country, and it's totally avoidable. That's the most frustrating thing about it. If mainstream politics and politicians deal with the issue, we can tackle it, we can make it better. But if they don't, it's just going to get worse and worse and increase this risk. Now, a lot of liberals will say, oh yeah, but look at our foreign policy abroad. And I agree, our foreign policy over the last 20, 30 years has been a disgrace. We should be staying out of the Middle East and Islamic countries and just withdrawing from the world stage. That's what I want the British politicians to do. Just keep out of these hellholes. Nothing to do with us. Withdraw the troops, come home, and that's it. And I think it will help the situation. I do think we'll get less attacks, but it won't stop it. This is here long term, I think. It won't stop it, but because there is countries who've been attacked, Germany, Sweden and things, have had Islamic terrorists, and they're not involved in all these escapades abroad. So Belgium as well. So, it's not the foreign policy those countries that's caused the problem. So that's not the whole answer to this. That's not the whole reason for this problem. We now have like a rampant Islamist ideology running amok in the West and in Europe. They're coming in through all avenues as fake refugees and all sorts of homegrown. That's the worrying thing, where second generation Muslims hate Britain, whereas their parents of those people didn't. They loved the country, For some reason, they're getting radicalised, and it goes back to the prison thing and mosques as well. But there is solutions to this problem, but it isn't going to come from politics, I'm afraid, because there isn't the people in politics who think like that. They're all liberal, weak, and who love mass immigration, open borders, multiculturalism, multi-faith society. They love it. It's what they live for, and this is where it's gotten us in effect. This disastrous position where British people are being killed on a monthly basis now, and it's so tragic. So my anger is at those people, those Islamists, but it's closely followed by the political elite. I'm almost, not quite, almost as angry at those people because they've allowed it to happen and they're not acting on it. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm going to try and do some more videos now. I realise it's been quite a while, but I'd be interested in your comments. Just stick them below and I'll have a read of them. Thanks very much.